Hello, everybody. We are finally closing in on the end of the semester. Congratulations. The worst of it is behind you. The last major assignment you have to do is this coming Tuesday night. It is your persuasive speech. Then you have a couple of discussion posts, and that'll wrap the semester up. This week focuses on Chapter 23 and Chapter 25. Next week has been set aside for final exam review. So let's talk for a minute about the final exam. It'll be multiple choice, and I'm publishing a study guide this afternoon. I'll make it available in multiple places on Canvas. The test will be composed of 50 multiple choice questions drawn from the readings that we've had since the midterm. I am excluding a few chapters, however, from the test. We won't be doing Chapter 23 or Chapter 25 or Chapter 26 or Chapter 27. The actual chapters that we are doing are Chapters 13 through 16, Chapters 19 through 22, and Chapter 24. That's 9 chapters. And so there'll be 50 multiple choice questions drawn from those 9 chapters. The study guide will contain a variety of multiple choice questions as well. There will be 100 multiple choice questions on the study guide drawn from those same 9 chapters, and they're segmented by chapter. So there's a chapter heading, and then there are the questions. So if you don't know how to answer one, you can go back to the book and review that particular chapter. You'll know where to find the answer. Listen, every single test question is drawn from the study guide. If you do the work of the study guide, take the time to work through it and answer the questions, you will have seen and discovered the answer for every single question that will be on the test. My job is not to trip you up on the final. This is a public speaking class. I just want to make sure that you're getting the core concepts that you need. So the test is not complex. It's not difficult. It's 50 multiple choice questions. They're worth 2 points apiece. And if you review the study guide, you will have seen every single one of those questions before the test. You still need to know the information. You still need to make sure you study and prepare yourself. But this way you know exactly what information that you're going to be responsible for. This will also be your final lecture. Your persuasive speech is due Tuesday by midnight. You'll have a discussion post number 14 this week, discussion post number 15 next week. Those are the final assignments in this class. And next week is set aside for final exam review. Now, it will be very beneficial for me just to read through the questions on the study guide. And there's really no other review than you need than to work through the study guide. So this will be the final lecture, and this lecture will not be very extensive. These chapters that are covered today will not appear on the final exam, and while you will benefit from reading them, I'm not going to give an extensive lecture over them. Let's look first at Chapter 23. Chapter 23 deals with business and professional speaking, and the chapter gives you some great instructions on how to handle the job interview. And most of you have probably interviewed for a job at least once in your life. And if you haven't, then you've got that to look forward to after you graduate. Job interviews are very, very important. And the book contains some really good guidelines to help you get through a job interview. I'm not going to go through all of them. Let me just point out a few things that stick out to me. First of all, make yourself knowledgeable about the job. If you're applying for a job as a widget salesman for A, B, and C company, by all means, Google A, B, and C company and find out what widgets they make and what the widgets do. Find out everything you can about the position that you're applying for before you walk into the room. As a matter of fact, it's a good idea to come up with some questions. That job interviews are all about people asking you questions. It's good to come into the interview with a few questions of your own about the job. So learn everything you can about the job. You want to sound knowledgeable. You want to look like you know what you're talking about. And you want to be able to ask intelligent questions about the job. Secondly, dress appropriately for the interview. Unless someone tells you otherwise, dress like it's a formal occasion. I don't care what the job is. I don't care how informal you think the job will be. You dress as if it's going to be a formal occasion. Third, answer questions clearly and provide ample information about your qualifications. Don't ramble, don't go on and on and on, but make sure you clearly and concisely answer the question that was asked, not some other question. And whenever you do, they're trying to learn about you and your qualifications for the job. So be sure that you provide that in your answer. A couple other things. Smile. Smiles make you approachable. Smiles make you likable. Make eye contact. People trust people who look them in the eyes. If you shake their hand, use a firm handshake because that will leave a good impression upon them. And whenever you're answering questions, particularly if you find yourself in a group interview where you're being interviewed by more than one person, whenever someone asks you a question, always respond directly to the person asking the question. Make eye contact with them. Make sure they feel like you're addressing them directly. Now, if there are more than one person in the room, and once you've started your answer, you may make eye contact with the other members of the group as well. But make sure that you answer questions directly and that you make eye contact with the person asking the questions. This chapter also presents some tips on various other aspects of business communication, how to conduct meetings at work, how to make a pitch or a persuasive argument at work, how to conduct a briefing, and how to handle yourself in an environment where you're responsible for training someone else. I'm not going to go through all of that. You can look at it yourself. All of these are valuable life skills, and you'll benefit from the insight that the book has to offer regarding them. Now, flipping over to chapter 25. Chapter 25 deals with speaking in college courses. Listen, there are two things that universities love. First, they love group work. Secondly, they love oral presentations. The main reason for this is that those two things represent real life skills that you must acquire in order to be successful in your future job endeavors. So if you're going to work in a business setting, you've got to be able to, first of all, work with other people. And then you've got to be able to present yourself clearly, present your ideas clearly, argue well for your ideas. So you'll find teachers in various areas will almost always assign somewhere in the point of a semester or somewhere in the progress of a semester some type of a group project or some type of an oral presentation or both. You're going to be asked to give a presentation in other classes. Now this class is your public speaking class. This is about teaching you how to do it. But you're going to be asked to put what you've learned here into practice in other classes. So by all means, please don't forget what all we've talked about here. Make sure you present a well-structured argument whenever you give your in-class presentation. Remember the mantra, tell me what you're going to tell me. Tell me, then tell me what you told me. I promise you that will improve your grade and it'll help your audience to remember your main points, your key points. It will convince your teacher that you know what you're talking about and that you can communicate it clearly. So by all means, tell me what you're going to tell me, then tell me what you told me. Get the structure right. This book discusses various kinds of class presentations and gives good advice on how you might approach them. Once again, there's valuable insight in the chapter and it will benefit you. I'm not going to go through it all. You can read it for yourself. This will not be on the final exam, and I think it's all great information that you need to gather and that you can glean from. And some of it may be stuff you'll never use, and some of it may be stuff that'll really benefit you in classes right now. So please make the time to go read the chapter. That's going to wrap up this week's lecture. Not a whole lot here. I'm not going in depth on these chapters, but I'm just trying to get you prepared for your final exam. You will have the review document in hand today, and I advise that you get together and work through it. It's okay to get a group together. It's okay to make it a group project, as long as whenever you take the test, you take it individually. So it's okay to get together, discuss the questions, look them up together. This is a good time for a study group. But whenever you've got those questions worked through and solved and you know the answer to them, then study that, because the final exam, exactly half of those questions on the review document will be on the final exam. So make sure you pay very close attention to them. All right, speech 3 has been graded. We'll get to speech 4 later in the week. I think it closes, finally closes to any kind of additions or late work tonight at midnight. So I will be getting to it and looking at it and making sure that everything is turned in, that I'm able to grade it. If you've had a problem with your upload or your link isn't working, you'll get a text from me, or not a text, but a Canvas message from me informing you of such, and it is your responsibility to get me a link that works. If you've missed any assignments or you need an opportunity for makeup work and you're watching this video, reach out to me via email. At this point, I've reached out to several of you several times. I'm not going to contact you again about your grade. If you contact me, I will work with you and try to help you recover some of the points that you've lost. So if you keep that in mind, if you're struggling, this is the end of the semester, you're looking at your grade going, oh no, I've got to do something drastic. I need to get it up. I can't get you an A, but I can get you where you can pass the class if you're willing to do the work. So reach out to me by email, through Canvas, however you want to do it. But let me know that you're interested in making some makeup work, doing some makeup work, trying to make up your grade, and I'll do my best to help you a little bit along the way.